It's Ron Reader Digs the Universe. I'm Ron Reader, and this is Ron Reader Digs the Universe, and tonight, the college education scam. Not too long after I had gotten my radio, television, and film degree in the mid-1990s, I was at a church luncheon in New Caney, Texas, of all places. I mentioned in casual conversation what I had just studied, and some grizzled hag of a church lady started laughing in my face, telling me good luck making money with that degree. I just shrugged it off and smiled, but I was thinking, no, you old bag, it won't make me any money, but it did give me the intellectual chops to understand the world like 1,000,000,000 times better than you. Goddamn church lady. Many years later, after my 6-year stint as a high school teacher and after I had gotten my master's degree, I was trashing on Facebook the notion of online colleges and universities, saying they're not college at all, but rather job training misidentified as college. An old college buddy of mine, he was a business major, he took umbrage at my assertion and called me an elitist because online college is the only way the poor and working class can get a degree. I tried to explain that I was talking about the nature of the learning, and that in any case I always assert that all college should be full ride for all people, so I'm just not coming from that point of view. Never mind that as a restaurant server who makes $20,000 a year, the notion of me being an elitist is laughable, but I digress. The point is that this notion, the rhetorical uplifting of job training to be on par with what the West has historically understood to be a university education, is, given the current social context, very difficult to discuss without people totally misunderstanding. And here's that current social situation. Everybody is being herded into college, but the vast majority of this college is in fact job training. Now, when I say college, I'm talking the liberal arts, I'm talking humanities, the stuff that teaches you how to write, which is the same thing as systematic, careful thinking, critical thinking that can be applied to any field and all fields. It teaches how to connect the dots, how to rise out of the trees in order to see the forest, how to construct a rational, consistent, non-contradictory big picture. Law, medicine, nursing, teaching, computer science, engineering, business. As Robin Williams says in Dead Poet Society, these are all important, noble pursuits, but this is all professional school. High-stakes job training, not the well-rounded, criticism-based, traditional college education. In the middle of the 20th century, some half of all degrees awarded were in the liberal arts. Now it's less than 10%, and we immediately see the problem with this. Americans have no intellectual defenses against demagoguery, propaganda, and disinformation. We see political apathy right alongside a relentless, fervent fascist movement. We've seen massive failure dealing with the pandemic. We see global warming's devastating effects starting to kick into high gear, all because we have lost the vast majority of our critical thinkers. Nowadays, college means that you are educated enough to keep the machines of society running, but not enough to understand why or how well they're running, to riff on a George Carlin thought. But like I said, when so many people don't even understand what a college education is, it's a tough discussion. So I'm working on this. I'm trying to refine it into a simple, unassailable argument. But I'm not there yet. Who knows how this episode will be taken? Probably bound to piss off a few people. I'm going to close with some thoughts I have about job training versus education, just to try to start getting a loose handle on this, if only for myself, if anybody. So here you go. Job training gives a fixed set of skills for a very specific situation. Education is big picture, allowing one to understand multiple specific situations in various contexts. Job training gets you to think deeply about one thing. Education gets you to think deeply about everything. Job training benefits the wealthy, and maybe you. Education benefits you and all of society. Job training is an economic investment. Education is a transformation of self and society. Job training, in theory, is about a better income. Education is about being a better human being. The distinction between job training and education isn't understood by those who have been simply job trained. The college educated understand this distinction so well that it literally hurts. Job training is about reining in the mind. Education is about expanding the mind. Job training makes you a subject. Education makes you a citizen. Job training restricts your existence. Education sets you free. Job training is for sheep. Education is for goats. Job training is for the now. Education is forever. I will definitely be returning to this in the future as I close in on how I can best explain these seemingly controversial ideas. I'm Ron Reeder, and this has been Ron Reeder Digs the Universe. Join me, Ron Reeder, again next week for another episode of Ron Reeder Digs the Universe. Americans have no intellectual defenses against demagoguery, propaganda, and disinformation. We see political apathy right alongside a relentless, fervent fascist movement. We've seen massive failure dealing with the pandemic. We see global warming's devastating effects starting to kick into high gear, all because we have lost the vast majority of our critical thinkers.